Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? Episode number 406, Drink It Till You podcast, the only podcast that lasts until the last drop. How the hell is your Sunday going? How the hell was your week? Hope everybody's okay. I hope you're safe out there. I'm cracking open early on today a Claw, 8% alcohol by volume, my Surge. Let's go ahead and have our first drink. If you got them, drink them. Bottoms up. Cheers, everybody. All right. First off, I know probably the majority of the country doesn't want to hear this, but congratulations to the LA Dodgers on their World Series championship. You know, after my team's out, the Texas Rangers, which now we have Bochy gone, by the way, and now our pitching coach, Maddox, is leaving, so I guess it's just back to the old ways of the Rangers, you know, the 90s Rangers that I grew up with, where it's, you know, it's fun. We can hit some home runs, but it might not, you know, we're just back to the mode we're used to. You know what I mean? Like, you can kind of see who's the hardcore Rangers fan and who's not, you know, just by talking to people about it. Because it's like, you know, people who aren't the hardcore Rangers fans are like bummed that we did so bad this year and we didn't even make it to the playoffs. Like, it's like, dude, I'm seasoned. You know what I mean? Like, this is nothing. We've had way worse seasons than this. You know, you're worried about this one? It kind of was tragic, though, to be honest, like the way, like, now that Maddox is leaving, just because he's such a good pitching coach and we actually had such a great pitching staff. I mean, even the numbers reflect it during the regular season. And we still couldn't, you know, from what I've always known the Rangers to be, it's always been the opposite. You know, we can smack the ball around the field. We can hit home runs. We just never have pitching. So it's kind of weird to see the opposite. Pitching was up. And the bats were terrible this season. So, but yeah, anyways, congratulations to the Dodgers. That's, you know, after my team's out, I just want to see great baseball. And the Mariners run, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoy it. Even though they're a divisional, I guess, foe to my Texas Rangers. Like, I'm still happy to see them there. You know what I mean? Like, they came close to beating Toronto and going into the World Series. And then Toronto, I mean, making it to the World Series, you know, you kind of expect that just them to win a single game and get swept. Or not get swept, but win a single game and then just get beat the next four. That's kind of what I was predicting. That's kind of what I was expecting. But man, the Toronto Blue Jays, dude, they pushed it to the limit. You know, which is that's what I want to see as a baseball fan. I want to see the Game 7. You know what I mean? Like, I want to see, you know, the strategies that they've been implementing since Game 1 come into effect, you know. Now you have a relief pitcher who's, you know, you've rested a little bit more than you normally would have. Because, you know, if it came down to Game 7, you're going to need, you know, it's like that whole thing. It's just fascinating. So I love watching baseball at its highest level. And that was it. Toronto, man, dude. You couldn't have got any closer. I mean, you could have got slightly closer. You could have been the 2011 Texas Rangers against the Cardinals. You could have got a little closer. 1 strike, 1 out away. But, I mean, still, it was a great series. I mean, who predicted Toronto ever leading the series? You know what I mean? Like, worst case scenario, you'd have to think it would be like Toronto wins 1, Dodgers win 2, Toronto wins 1, Dodgers win 2. You know what I mean? I guess that is how it played out eventually. That's 4, 5, 6, 7 games. Either way, yeah. I mean, no matter how it played out, just to go to a Game 7 is awesome, you know. And the Dodgers do take it. I mean, there's a lot of shit talking, you know, as far as they're just buying championships. They were the team who spent the most in the MLB. I mean, I think Toronto was like 3rd or 4th to come that close and be, not even second place is pretty damn good, man. That has to speak to coaching and like preparation for Toronto. The Mariners were so hot, and coming into that series, I didn't think they would beat Detroit, though I wasn't rooting against them. They played really well against Toronto. It's just Toronto was a little, the start of that series, if you remember, it looked like the Toronto was just dead. It looked like the Mariners, like they weren't even supposed to be there with the Mariners. And then a flip switched for Toronto, and they made it. So close but no cigar. Congratulations to the Dodgers. We'll see what next season holds. I think there's probably going to be some changes. I don't dig too deep into the financials and like all the, rules about it and stuff and penalties and fines they may have to pay, whatever. But I think that's what it's going to have to do with. It's just, we can't let teams spend, everything on a team just to win the champion. It's kind of not fair, even though, hasn't that been done since like baseball's been in existence? Like the Yankees, they've had so much money for so long too. It's like, look at how many championships they have. What's the difference? I don't know. I try to stay out of the politics on baseball, but yeah, it's over. We'll have to wait till next season. I love baseball, but it's been a long season, especially coming from a Rangers fan perspective. Just as a reminder, it's like the Rangers were out of it late, after the All-Star break, out of it. Then we start to play really well, and it's like, okay, well, we're back in the mix. We're only like 2-3 games behind Houston, who's been leading the entire season. Then we take a little stumble again. It's like we fall back down, and then we jump back up again. It's like we go on a winning streak, and it's like, oh, we're back in it all of a sudden again. Just to end the season and not making it to the playoffs. It sucks. I'm not going to... I'm just glad we won the championship. If we didn't have that one, we'd just be counting our days until we could win a championship. So 2023 really kind of chilled me out as a fan anyway. Like, we just needed that one. And, there's no more goose egg. And that's over. So anyways, let's have another drink. Bottoms up. Cheers, everybody. All right. UFC. I did not watch a single second of UFC. Just looking over the names, this wasn't like a big, last weekend was that big event with the eye poke. And, Aspinall's still, putting out screenshots and video of him at the doctor, and he's still saying he can't see. I don't know. I could see where a fan, or, just anybody looking from the outside in could think this is all just bullshit and fake. I could totally see how that might be a thing. You don't get poked in the eye once and you just can't see anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not a doctor. Maybe I shouldn't say that, but it seems like that's happened to people in the UFC so many times before in the same kind of way, and they were never like, a week later I can't see. Maybe Gon didn't wash his hands before the fight, and that's the problem. It's led. I don't know. But yeah, so that whole thing is still going on with Aspinall. And I said this last week, he's not what I thought he was. You know what I mean? Regardless of the eye poke, I'm not really taking that into consideration, but the way Gon, before the eye poke was just beating him up and looked bigger, stronger, and faster than that. Aspinall's just sold to us as this super duper, and I'm not saying he's slow, but he's sold to us as the fucking Flash. You know what I mean? Like, can't be touched. Can't grab him before he hits you. Can't block that. Like, that's the way he's kind of sold to us. And after that little, that little fight, I'm allowed to call it a little fight, even if it was a main event. yeah, he doesn't seem that way to me anymore. Like, that kind of blew that whole aura he had going on, in my opinion. And maybe in a lot of fans' opinion, too. I don't know. So, anyways, yeah, I didn't watch any UFC. So I have no idea what's going on there, dude. I've been watching a ton of hockey. Yeah, a ton of hockey, and trying to, just kind of get some clips, keep the YouTube page going. And, yeah, dude, I took a break this weekend. I normally have just been taking one day off from posting clips on the YouTube page, just to keep it fresh. I like to do 3 a day just to give some variety. And, yeah, I took 2 days off this weekend. I kind of needed it. I've been going so hard, and, I have over 200 shorts now. So that's, I've been trucking along there, but yeah, dude, these video games are so, and I hear they're going to get even better with this, with the new GTA coming out. There's supposedly some kind of like improved AI to where, the people in the game who aren't, who are just kind of robotic and there for filler or whatever, driving cars or walking around on the street to create foot traffic, or, sometimes there'll even be like, GTA specifically, there's like an officer chasing some random citizen because they saw them do something, I don't know, wreck into somebody and drive away. But that's going to be improved, apparently. Some people don't believe it, until they see it. Some people are like, they've been saying that for years, and it's never, it's kind of like the whole NHL or Madden thing, or even like an iPhone. It's like they come out with something, quote, new, but it's like a single feature has changed, and they're allowed to call it new and charge like $400 extra for it. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, it's supposed to be getting super realistic, which is crazy. I mean, even in the visuals that I've seen, it used to be like in the cutscenes when you would like start up a video game, the cutscenes were like super realistic looking, almost looking like a movie. And then you get to the game and it's like a little bit less, like, you get a little bit less on the graphic side when you're actually playing the game. But it's coming to the point now where it's like what you're seeing in the preview is like what it's going to be in the game. So these characters are supposedly going to have, their own thought pattern and their own agendas they're doing during the day. Maybe they have to go to the story, whatever, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's like literally, it's intelligent enough. The AI we have now is intelligent enough to, make all these different characters do all these different things while you're controlling your character and roaming around and doing whatever you do, But I think already it's just super realistic. Like it cracked me up, dude. These games, I don't know, man. Even to this point, it blows my mind. Like the reaction time. What the hell is that? The reaction time of, the players in the game, the computer players in the game, is incredible. I remember I was like, as you do in GTA, you try to steal like the fastest cars and get away from the cops if they're onto you. So I'm kind of doing that, and I found an area in kind of like up in the hills. It's kind of based on California. But I found a little area up in the hills where you can, if you're running from the cops, you can kind of like go up and down the hills, and it makes it harder for the computer to catch you. You know what I mean? Because they're not doing it right. You know what I mean? Like you go over a hill, but you kind of slow down at the top and slowly roll down the bottom. Dude, they're just like full force on the throttle. They don't, the technology hasn't caught up to tell that, I guess, NPC to slow down at the top of the hill. So it's really it turns comical. And, when you're trying to outrun the computer or whatever, it kind of gets funny just for the fact that, they can't really control every aspect of it. They're like driving into each other. Or like one time I was running and there's a train coming like head on. So I moved over on the track, and I mean, that dude chasing me, I mean, just got head-on collision with the train because they don't, like I said, they just can't think fast enough, sometimes. But there's other instances where it's like it's so realistic, it's crazy. Like, I told the Red Dead story about how I went to the gunsmith and the guy remembered me, but he's like, if you cause any more trouble, it's going to get bloody for you. So obviously he remembers me coming in there once upon a time and fighting him. And, I go through that whole kind of story. Well, it's kind of the same thing. So I'm like going on that like hilly part of, California up in the hills where all the rich people live in their fucking mansions and shit. And I'm just kind of going up the hills and down the hills and around and on some streets and then up I'm just kind of running them on this course and just having fun with it, And I reached the top of this hill. I might have told this last week, but I reached the top of the hill, like this hill, to get onto a street so I can keep, running. But now I'm like on the highway, so I can go fast and kind of swerve around cars. There's not too bad of traffic. I can get away easier. So anyway, I come flying up this hill and I stop last second because I see this like minivan and they're like going on the road and we're about to like, if I keep gassing it, I'm basically going to jump the hill and hit them head on, like fly into them. And so I see her at the last second. So I hit the brakes and I slow down. And her reaction time was perfect. And it's like so realistic. But I got to the top of the hill and she saw me. And I'm like, and I slam on the brakes. She goes, fuck her. And she kept driving. And then, dude, I had to set the controller down and like just how realistic that was. You know what I mean? Like anybody just driving on a road and all of a sudden here comes a car from the hill where you don't expect. I think that would be the first thing to pop out of my mouth too, is fuck her. I mean, she said it just like that. She like beeped her horn. She's like, she stops because I stopped. She saw me coming at her and she like beeps the horn. She's like, fuck her. And then she just keeps driving. It's just like, that shit is, and that's, like I said, it's kind of exciting because that kind of shit's going to get even better. You know what I mean? Instead of her, the reaction time was great of honking the horn and calling me a fucker. But, who knows? and that, in the future in a GTA 6 where she has even more AI capability, who knows? She might chase me at that point, because I pissed her. Who knows? I don't know what they're going to do, but it's just so damn funny, dude. These games, dude, my stomach was fucking hurting. I was laughing. So it was so hard the way I popped over that hill. She's like, fuck her. Dude, just standing there, dude. I'm learning this too. Just standing there, like loading the game. I'm using Franklin right now. I haven't made any headway in the story mode. I'm trying to kind of do the same thing I'm doing in Red Dead and hold off and experience everything I can in this part of the story before I get Trevor, before I get Michael, and then I kind of do the same thing. As I get the extra characters, I explore with them for the next, however long, couple of months or whatever. And, see the different interactions because I'm sure they built it in that way. Franklin gets different, reactions from people than Michael gets. And Trevor gets different reactions from people than, Michael would get. So, I'm just kind of taking my time with it, but, now I'm only using Franklin, so it's just fun to run around and do all the stuff and collect the little stories and without doing missions. That's kind of the goal in both games. Without doing missions, what kind of random stuff, will it do? So one of the things is just literally loading the game, and Franklin's like standing in his house, face toward the door to go, he can go outside, go get in his car, go drive somewhere, whatever, walk somewhere, whatever he's got to do. Just standing inside, like, and listening. You can hear the people talking outside, the NPCs or whatever, dude, the things they make them say. Some dude, I can't remember how he phrased it, but he was like, walking by the front of Franklin's house, and he was talking about like his wife abusing him or stuff. It was so fucking, and it's like, in the game, it's like early morning, or maybe you slept the night before, to save the game, and you wake up in the morning, and, it's like 9 a.m. in the morning. I don't know. It's just funny, dude. Just because it's like not Really? I mean, you go out on the street in real life and you just listen to people's conversation in Starbucks, or in the Walmart line to check out. Like, you're going to hear some shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's just realistic. I love it. So, anyways, let's go ahead and have another drink. I'm going to go through football standings. Dude, I didn't watch the Cowboys game last week. I didn't even think about it until like Tuesday. I was like, wait, the Cowboys already played? And we did, and we lost. So I'm going to go around the NFL a little bit, and then we'll finish off with some NHL. Let's go ahead and have another sip. Cheers, everybody. All right, moving on to the NFL here. Pretty positive the Cowboys play today, but who knows? I don't know. No, see, I'm too set in the NHL. Kind of with the scandal going on with the NBA, somebody brought up a good point. They're like, you think this is bad? Wait until they start investigating the NFL. I don't know, since the NBA thing has kind of been going on, and I know they're probably going after the NFL next, amongst other reasons, though that's not the only reason, but the NFL just isn't doing it for me the past couple of years. Like I'll watch, of course I'll watch the Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm losing interest is basically what it is. You know what I mean? Like, and I love football, like football's a great game, but all the reasons around it, like the scandals and, thank God. I mean, this is literally the reason I don't bet on football or, really any sport, but I especially would not bet on football. I especially would not bet on the NBA because people are doing this crooked ass shit and you've known it for years. It's not like this is shocking news. It's just coming, to the top. We're just learning who, is doing it and, who's associated with doing that kind of shit. So, anyways, I'm just kind of losing interest in the NFL. I have been. Hence why I didn't even watch my own team last week. I found out we lost later on. Yeah, we lost to the Broncos 44-24. So we have the Cardinals 7:15 tomorrow. So they got the Monday night game. So let's just go over the standings here real quick. AFC East, Patriots, Bills, AFC North, Steelers, Bengals, AFC South, Colts, Jags, AFC West, Broncos, Chargers. Now let's move over to the NFC. Eagles, I can't believe my Cowboys are in second place in the division. I guess, yeah, the Commanders and the Giants are like, we're worse. The .250 winning percentage, oof. And that's with Russell Wilson, right? Like, okay, clearly it's not the quarterback. The quarterback clearly isn't the problem. I mean, not saying Russell Wilson's the greatest quarterback, but he's a solid quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, there's more problems than just him, So, yeah, NFC East, Eagles, Cowboys. I can't believe I get to say they're even in second place. NFC North, Packers, Lions. That's a close division. NFC South, Buccaneers, Panthers. NFC West, Seahawks, Rams. All right, Seahawks, turning it on there. So yeah, that's a little around the NFL. If you care, I'm trying to. It's losing interest day by day. Anyways, moving on to the NHL. My Dallas Stars playing the defending champs last night. Down 2-0 at a certain point. My Stars come back and tie it. The Panthers, of course, being the Panthers, get a third goal. And then my Stars end up tying it 3-3 on the sickest, sneakiest Mikko Rantanen tip that I've seen so far. It was kind of straight. Like, you didn't see him until the last second because he's jockeying for position with one of their D guys. Rantanen is. And so they're kind of, pushing back and forth. And, I mean, Mikko's a big dude. Like, he's not easy to move. I remember one play during the game, one of the guys got, sometimes the goalie will cover the puck, but our guys are, waiting there in case it squirts out. We can knock it in, let's get an easy one off of this goalie. And, he's kind of waiting there, and he doesn't like that Mikko is so close, and he pushes Mikko to scoot him back, to kind of glide him back on his skates. And that doesn't work. And then he pushes him harder again, and Mikko barely flinches and doesn't move an inch. It's yeah, that's a big dude. You're not just you can't just one arm push him out of the way. You know what I mean? You're going to have to use force and give it a good push to get him to move. So, and that's what he's great at. He's great at being in front of the goal and being a big body, blocking the view of the goalie. But on this particular play, he's kind of jockeying for position. And the play kind of goes around in the offensive zone. So obviously the D players for Florida, their positioning changes. So he kind of gets away from the guy he's jockeying with, and he skates around the back of the goal, where here comes the pass. I think it was from Steele. So he's next to the goalie's right ear, pretty much. You know what I mean? So here comes the pass from Steele. And he just deflects it from that. It was a weird angle. It was sneaky. It was an awesome goal. And that's exactly why, we got Mikko. We need someone, a game changer like that. I hate to be this way, dude, but I'm going in on Tyler Seguin this season. Just even from what I've seen so far, he's just a flailer. He's not anything spectacular, man. And we're paying him all this fucking money just for him to flail on the ice. It's weird. I don't know. And I get it. It's he's trying to be active and trying to be, aggressive in a way, just skating furiously after the puck and, being that kind of leader. But it's it doesn't do it. It doesn't do anything if you're not generating anything. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm not saying he doesn't get assists. I'm not saying he doesn't score goals, but he's just, I don't know, man. I've been over it, and still to this day, I am over it. You know what I mean? Thankful for what he's done over the years, thankful for the person he's been. Him personally giving to charity and Seguin stars and stuff like that. That's nothing to do. I'm not questioning his person. I'm just questioning his play. And I have been for the past years. I thought when we got him, we were getting a sniper. As did, obviously he got all that money because we thought that too. But he's not that guy. He's not the game changer. He's not the, it's I remember last season, Seguin diving for the puck to knock it off the boards, to pass it to Mikko for the open net for the hat trick to put Colorado away. It's that he does little stuff like that. So it's that's what makes you love him. But, I just, the disparity, the money he's making versus what he produces is I'm ready for the Wyatt Johnston era, which has already begun. This kid is the real deal. He's not a big guy. He's definitely not the biggest guy, so prone to getting knocked around, but he's kind of what you want in a sniper and a playmaker, and, he can do it all. And I have to always praise Lindell too, man. Game after game, no matter if we're winning or losing, or if it's game 1 or game 52 or game 82, Lindell is just that dude, man. He is just that teammate that I would want on my team. You know what I mean? I do sales for work. I don't know what position he would be in my team. You know what? He's blocking. He could be he's blocking shots. He's blocking incoming calls from scam artists. I don't know, but I love that about him, dude. I always just watch him and think to myself, how little probably the average, I'm not talking shit, but the average Dallas Star fan notices him, unless you're really balls deep into this team. It's you're just kind of watching, having fun. You might not even know the name Lindell, but just someone who's watched hockey for a long time, he does all those things that made me love Yuri Lehtinen. You know what I mean? Even though Lehtinen was a forward, Lindell's D-man, but it's about the hard work. It's about the being there for your teammates. Like, he's going to take a shot every game for the rest of the season, so Ottinger or DeSmith has to take one less in that period. You know what I mean? Or in that minute, or on that power play. It's just like, that's the ultimate. And he doesn't, he's humble about it. I think that's the part that sends me over the top with this guy, is like, he's not, cocky about it. He's like, not like, oh, I deserve this because I do this, and, like trying to point it out. He's just there to fucking work. And I love that, dude. I love that mentality. And he gets it done. Like, dude, I can't tell you how many times last season in the playoffs he saved our ass. I mean, he was behind Ottinger like, this puck is not going in. It's just awesome to see, man. Like, that's, especially as a fan who is paying, for merch and to go to the games and blah, blah, even though I hadn't been to a game in a long time. That's those kind of things, watching that happen on the ice and him, take those shots and block them and try to help us win, even if we lose. It's like that, a ticket money well spent, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That feels like I got my money's worth, and I'm so happy with that. You know what I mean? Like, I work hard to buy the ticket. He's working hard to perform while I'm there for the money that I spent to buy the ticket. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate it. I really do. That's when we get upset when we see our team or certain people on the team mailing it in. That shit pisses me off. I fucking bought a ticket. I arranged probably more than likely for a babysitter. You know what I mean? Like, I went through all these steps. I left work a little early so I go home and shower before. It's like, dude, and you're going to give up halfway through the game? Fuck you. There's no loyalty in that. But anyways, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Been watching a lot of hockey. Oh, I am going to the Stars Oilers game with my homie Sid. She's going to wear the McDavid jersey, which I'm so jelly of. I love Connor McDavid. Obviously the best player in the world, if not one of the best players in the world. Or I guess I said that backwards. He's one of the best players in the world, if not the best player in the world. So yeah, she's going to rock the McDavid. She asked if I wanted to rock the McDavid jersey. I was like, I can't, that's what I always say. That's kind of my rule. My Stars are my number one. Now, if we were in Florida and it's, the Panthers versus, I don't know, the Lightning, absolutely I would wear a Panthers or a Lightning jersey. I would wear oh man, who would I'd probably get the Bobrovsky jersey. I'd have to go with the goalies for each of those teams. I'd get the Bobrovsky jersey for the Panthers, and I'd also get the God damn it, I can't believe Vasilevsky jersey from Tampa Bay. I almost forgot his name. That's tragic. But yeah, totally. But yeah, when it comes to my Stars, I am not going to root for anybody else. Not when they're playing them. You know what I mean? So she's like, I get it. She was and I totally would love to wear the McDavid jersey. That would be so fucking sick. But, yeah, not against my boys, not against my Stars. So yeah, we're going to go to the game. If you're there, holler. I can't even tell you what section we're going to be in. Come snap a shot with me. We'll prove to everybody we were there and we had a great time, a better time than they did sitting on their couch. But yeah, I'm super excited to go to the game. But yeah, I think that's it for the week. We talked about all the sports, all the hockeys. I've just been on the Sabres bandwagon. I've been enjoying the hell out of watching them play. They're fun to watch. Watched the Flyers Penguins game a few nights ago. That was interesting, dude. I didn't know. So there was like a scrum at the end of that game. And I guess if you come out onto the ice after the scrum, it was like going into a shootout. This kind of happened at the end of overtime. If you're going onto the ice after the scrum happened, you're like become ineligible to take a shot during the shootout. So this is what happened with Crosby. He was set to take the first shot of the shootout, but he had come onto the ice too early, and they weren't going to let him take a shot because they're like, you're ineligible now. Like, you had to wait to come onto the ice. And so he doesn't get to take a shot. And this was after, like, some drama before where the Flyers had scored the overtime game-winning goal, but then it gets called back. And dude, I even tweeted about it. I was like, yeah, good game, Flyers. Like, that was awesome. Overtime goal. And I flipped the channel to watch a different game, and I come back, I'm like, wait, they're in the shootout now? Like, what's going on? So come to find out, it was offside, so they end up going to the shootout. There's a scrum at the end of OT. Crosby's ineligible, and then the Flyers were kind of being a little cheeky there because Malkin at the time was in the box when the game ended in an overtime. Malkin was in the box, but he had to come out of the box to skate over to the bench, you know, because that overtime goal, you know, they're like, okay, game's over. So Malkin comes out of the penalty box. He's skating over and they're like, no, you know, we're reviewing it. It's offside. But he's done with the penalty because it's going to a shootout, regardless of if that was a goal or not. It's pretty much just going to a shootout. And so the Flyers try to say, since he came out of the box at the end of the game, Malkin's ineligible to do a shootout. And the ref's like, no. And even the announcers were like, well, it was the end. He thought it was the end of the game. He had to come out of the box to, like, leave. You know, but the Flyers were trying to claim he's ineligible to take a shot, which he wasn't, and he ended up taking a shot, and he ended up burying it. But the Flyers do come out on top of that one. Another team I've really been noticing lately, too, is Columbus. They played back-to-back nights, and yeah, they who did they beat the night before? I think it was like the Ducks or something. They beat the Ducks the night before. They came out the next night, and they beat that team, who I can't remember now. They were like up on them early, like 2-0. They end up winning that game. I'm like, all right, Columbus is kind of quietly, you know, I forget who their coach is right now, but they're quietly kind of doing their thing. Like, it's kind of cool to see. I always like that sneaky team that no one's even thinking about. No one's thinking about the Columbus Blue Jackets this season in the NHL. You know what I mean? But that might work to their advantage, because then when you go play them, you know, smack, hello, you know, it's too late. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun to see. Who else? I can't. Yeah, it was mainly those in the Wild Flyers game. That was pretty crazy. I didn't know about the ineligibility if you come out onto the ice after a little scrum. I guess that kind of makes sense, because if they don't have that rule, then guys would be jumping over onto the ice, and they could join said scrum, and that would be, you know, even more out of hand. The refs are like, okay, this is too many people. A bench clearing brawl. But anyways, yeah, so that's pretty much it. The Ducks too. Oh yeah, the Ducks. They were down a man in overtime with like 2 minutes. It's pretty much the rest of overtime. 2:06, I think, was left against the Panthers, and they're down. They're, you know, the game is tied, but they have one less guy. They have 3. They're on the, you know, the Panthers go on the power play, so it's 4-on-3 with 2:06 left. Pretty much going to end the game on the power play. The Ducks survive that, and take it to a shootout, and the Ducks actually win the shootout. That's Quenneville's boys over there. The old coach for the Blackhawks, who's used to dealing with young talent. And I mean, you got to guess, of all the teams in the NHL with young talent, the Ducks have really got to be one. When's the last time they made the playoffs? You know what I mean? So yeah, tons of good hockey. It's been great. There's some NASCAR on today. Sadly, oh man, I don't know what I looked at, dude. I thought, and I'm pretty sure I said this on the podcast last week, I thought Christopher Bell was in the Final Four, and he's not. I went to work, and my friend's like, well, both of our, you know, his driver's Blaney. He's like, well, both of our drivers are out. I was like, what? No, I just looked last night. I thought Christopher Bell was in. And he's not. So No Christopher Bell going for the championship today. But the good news is we got Joe Gibbs Racing. We got 2 drivers from Joe Gibbs Racing in there. So I'm Joe Gibbs Racing all the way. Obviously, they're driving the Toyotas, so I'm Toyota all the way. Dude, I fucking love a Toyota now, dude. Like, after this NASCAR season, I'm absolutely obsessed. Not only are they keeping up with the brands that have been doing it forever, but they're excelling in what they're doing. Like, it's fucking awesome, dude. If I were ever in a position to where I could have just a second, like, play car, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be some sort of Toyota racing, street legal racing car, because it just looks fucking fun, dude. So yeah, the last race is on. I believe that's on at like 2:00 here today. Cowboys Monday. I don't know what there. I'm sure there's some sort of hockey. Baseball's over. It kind of sucks. It's kind of sad. But it's been a season for me in that category. So anyways, that's going to do it for me. As always, don't drink and drive. Treat yourself to an Uber. Treat yourself to a Lyft. Treat yourself to a Waymo if it's in your area. Waymo's coming to Dallas in 2026. They're testing it out right now. Really no excuse to drink and drive. Don't be a freaking idiot. Get a DoorDash, get an Uber Eats. They'll bring you the booze. If you're in Texas like I am, you can't get liquor on Sunday, but they'll bring you a couple of claws. You know, pop open a couple of claws. I gotta say this, dude. Me and Sydney are so funny. She's the coolest. She's just like always down to go do stuff. You know what I mean? Like, where it's kind of, you know, other friends that I have, they have families and kids and other kind of, you know, responsibilities. I mean, it helps that me and Sid are so close. Our houses are only like 10 minutes away from each other, but, you know, she's the one that's always down to do stuff. So it's like, she'll just text me randomly in the week and be like, you want to pop a claw, dude? And I'm like sitting there at work. It's like I'm about to get off in an hour. I'm like, I wasn't planning on drinking today, but hey, once your friend offers, yes. The answer is yes. And the weather's getting nice. It's cooling down. She's like, you want to pop a claw? Absolutely, I do. And I love that, you know, and like I've said this before, I really am proud of my friends because, when we do things like that, she's either if I'm going to her house, I'm staying the night at her house because I started drinking. If she's coming to my house, she's staying the night at my house because she started, you know, like that's perfect. I love that. Be responsible, man. It's just not worth it. So anyways, let me get off of my soapbox. I'm gonna get out of here. I will talk to you. Oh wait, we got to finish these off. Bottoms up. Cheers. All right, that's it. That's going to do it for me. I will talk to you all next week. I love you all. Be safe out there. Bye.